So this is reward charts part 2. The other issue with reward charts, I talked a bit about the beginnings of the issue and Alfie Cohen and his work in Punished by Rewards. If I'm going to go a little bit further with reward charts, one of the other big issues is the things used in reward charts. A lot of people that use reward charts use basic things that children should have access to as the reward. So if they do X, Y, Z, mummy will spend an hour with them. Well, mummy should spend an hour with them regardless. Or if they do X, Y, Z, they'll get an hour on their computer to stim and to enjoy themselves. Well, they should already be able to enjoy themselves. They should already be able to have that time when they want it. As we all probably know, I'm not a fan of restrictions to devices because most devices for autistic kids are a stim. They're a self-stimulatory thing that they need. It regulates them, it calms them. Sometimes we get overstimulated, granted, but it can be so important for autistic children. So using that as a reward is dangerous because you're essentially saying you don't get to self-regulate until you do things that I want, that I prioritize as important. That's problematic. It's really hard, and you've got to follow the dopamine when it comes to working and living with autistic and ADHD kids. So it doesn't mean they get to do nothing and just sit on their devices all the time, but I think we have to be a bit more reasonable with what we're expecting. I know there are some kids out there that don't want to clean their room, they don't want to do these things. We're going to have to find a way to talk to them and work with them, because just because it's inconvenient doesn't motivate a child. You know what I mean? Like, just because they should do it, it's not motivating. And if they're just following the reward and getting the reward and wanting the reward, then at one point that reward's not enough anymore. You're going to have to level up. There's only dopamine in the reward the first few times usually. And then it's a point of, well, you're going to have to level up after that because there's not enough in it anymore. So then where do you go to? And what else are you using for rewards? Using things that they should already have access to readily without having to do something for it is problematic in a reward system. The other thing is those high energy, anxious, a lot, especially the gifted kids, they will get every reward. They must. And they will clamp down on anything else they're doing to get the reward. And I had a little one recently, only 7 years of age, who removed all his fingernails and toenails. He was so anxious as a result of losing one of the gold stars on his school assessment. On the board of behaviour. And he removed his toenails and his fingernails because of the reward chart. He became obsessive. He had reward charts all over his bedroom. He just wanted everything in a reward chart. So it becomes this hyper-focus and it's monotropic, and that's why these things are dangerous. We have a polarized way of looking at the world. It's called monotropism, and we hyper-focus on everything. So you put a reward chart in place, we just hyper-focus on that. And if we can't achieve it, all you're doing is highlighting our deficits. And that's also not helpful.